Hi Jennifer, you ready to paint? First things first. We've got Lisa in studio with us, so if you see me talking to someone, I'm not talking to myself. Alright, so we're going to start with making sure we got all our materials. Get a square brush, Filbert, fan, round, detail. Get my paints on my plate. I'm using cadmium red medium hue. It's a great color for a sky, and it doesn't turn brown when you mix it with blue. It's more of a purpley. So I've got red or cadmium red, yellow, blue, any shade of blue, primary, cerulean, Mars black, white, and permanent green. Any shade of green you like will do. This is my example of what we're doing. And this is how my friend Amanda interpreted the image. So you can really make it your own. Lisa over here is going to do some purple lupins, you said? Mm-hmm. All right, so you should have your water cup, your paint, your brushes, your towel. And we're going to start with the sky and the square brush. A sip of wine. So I'm going to start at the yellow part of the sky, move up to the cadmium red, and then the blue. I'm going to start with the square brush. Load that up with some yellow and go all the way across, trying not to stop in the middle because I don't want my brush strokes to be seen. Doing a little bit of yellow and white now all the way across, making it a little bit thicker than I want. And then I'm going to pick up that cadmium, go above the yellow a little bit, and then right into it and go back and forth and try to blend that. Rinse your brush a little bit if you want. Pick up a little more cadmium. And then blue and white for the top. I have them both on the same brush. Going left to right without stopping in the middle and getting down to that cadmium, and I'm trying to blend it so it's a nice smooth transition. If there's any spots in your sky that you don't like, we can put a cloud there. That's what Bob Ross would do. So we'll get that in closer in case you need a close up. You could do your sides if you want to, if you have a studio edge canvas. I like to go from the back to the front of the canvas so that I don't get anything on the front. If you just do down the side like this, you're likely to get a line. How's it going, Lisa?
Not blending well.
If you're having a hard time blending, you can add a smidge of water to the brush. I'm going to do my sides just in case anybody needs a minute to catch up. I know I paint fast. Now if you've gotten your blue into your yellow and it's all green and brown up here, acrylic is really forgiving. It's easy to fix. Just let it dry. Paint over it like it never happened. If you put the paint on really thick, it can take a while to dry, so you can go grab a hair dryer and try to speed that up. Lisa is coming out pretty good. Hi Jason, Bree, Cindy, Mike Johnson. Are you painting too, Mike? So the next thing we're going to do is mix our colors for the mountain. Or the two mountains. The one in the back is gray, and then we have a darker one in the front. It's a grayish blue. Kind of like a Payne's gray. So I'm going to mix that right on the plate, probably with my Filbert. Black is super strong, so you just need a little bit of that. Put that in some white. Add some blue to it. Mix that up and get a nice grayish blue color. This should be dry for you to be able to do it. And I'm going to chalk in the shape of the mountain. You can do that with a pencil, with regular chalk, or you could just go right in with your paint. Make it kind of dark so you can see it. And then the one in the front. So with my Filbert, or a square, you could use a round, it doesn't have to be a Filbert. I just like the rounded edge of it. Tip towards the edge with the grayish blue. Doesn't even have to be a solid color. It can have different variations in it. This will probably need a second coat. It's better to give it a nice thin coat rather than try to make it really thick and have it cover. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think I'm going to give it another coat.
Did you put a little blue in there?
Yep, blue, black, and white. And then the bottom part, I'm just adding a little more black to my brush so it's darker for the bottom mountain. And the bottom of this doesn't even matter. It's going to be covered with grass. Doesn't have to be a clean edge. But I'm going to go down to about there. Want to let your paintbrushes hang out in your water or clean them off right away so the paint doesn't harden up on them. Switching to a bigger brush here for the bottom part. Big square brush. Just kind of letting it fade away at the bottom. Doesn't have to be anything great. It's going to get covered up. We've got a masterpiece already. We've only been working 15 minutes. I'll give you guys a few minutes because I know I paint fast. The next color we're going to use is green, and the next brush is the square brush. So I'll just take a couple sips of wine. Lisa's getting into her second mountain now. Where are you guys at? Anybody want to comment what step you're on? Hi, Tiff. I see ya. Cute. Well, the grass part, there's two parts to that. The first part is pretty easy. We are just going to cover the bottom with green, preferably a darker green. So I'm going to add a bit of black to that with the square brush. Just going to cover the bottom. Doesn't even have to look good. There's a close-up of that. Just gonna let that dry a minute. So since this is my first Facebook Live, feel free to leave a comment or message me. Let me know how good you can hear me, how good you can see things. Hi, Michelle. touching stuff up. Almost put the paintbrush in the wine. I'll just put that there. Hi, Nanette. Just pausing to let you guys catch up. Letting the grass dry. We're going to be doing some clouds next, if you want to have some clouds. Amanda's example does not have any clouds in it, and it's really pretty. My example has clouds in it similar to the color of our mountains. I like to have an odd number of clouds because an odd number is good in a composition. And I like to have smaller clouds toward the bottom to create some depth, some distance. These have some colors in them that are in the sky and the mountains. Close up of that. Bob Ross uses a square brush for his clouds, so you could use a big square brush, the corner of it. I'm going to use a Filbert. Some artists use a fan brush. I don't know if I'd recommend the round. That'd be some weird looking clouds. You could also use what's called a mop brush, and it looks just like a mop. It's a big fuzzy brush. I also recommend not using a lot of paint if you want some fluffy cap clouds, but some people paint thick and that's fine. So we'll start those clouds in a second. If you want to grab your brush, I'm going to start with white and add in some blues and some blacks, maybe even a little cadmium red. I'm going to pick up some white with that Filbert, tap it on my towel, and start up here pouncing. This technique is good to get out frustration. I kind of twist my brush as I'm going. And pick up a little bit of bluish black, get that into the bottom. I'm going to tap to blend that in there. A little more white at the top. Dark, I want mine darker at the bottom. You can definitely play with these until you get what you want. Right now I'm kind of scumbling. It's just a little bit of paint you're kind of rubbing around. There's the first cloud. The little guy down here. I can see it from behind. It looks pretty good. Are you doing clouds?
I don't know. I should.
Again, if you've just joined us, I am not talking to myself. Lisa's here in studio with us. If you do some clouds, you don't like them, just let it dry and paint over it like it never happened. Spot here I don't like, so I'm going to put a cloud there. It's much better than watching the Super Bowl. Do you watch the Super Bowl?
My son likes to, which is funny because we don't watch football during the year.
Just the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
My husband watches the Super Bowl and I'll be painting and he'll scream and the paintbrush will go flying. It's much better here. Did you go with clouds?
I like the wispy
You like the wispy clouds?
clouds, so I'm tempting.
Just finishing up some clouds here. I feel like I need one more right there. I'll keep us at an uneven number. Another. I think I'm good with the clouds. We're going to want to use the fan brush next, and I'm going to use a combination of yellow and permanent green to make my grass. How's your cloud smell? Nice. Do you want to share?
Sure.
Check out Lisa's. Pretty nice wispy clouds. Thank you. Now you get the grass on me. Alright, so we're going to use the fan brush next. Combination of yellow and permanent green. You can even have a little bit of blue in there. Some white, maybe even some black. We're just going to try to get variation of color throughout and not have it all solid green. So this should be dry. I'm even going to wet my brush a little bit. I'm going to tap it on the side of the cup. And I want it a little lighter in the back, getting darker towards the front. So I'm going to pick up some green, white, and yellow. Just mush that all on the brush. Nice technical art term, mush. Kind of use it from the side. It's a little shocking yellow, but the green will blend there. A little water, tap it, scrape it. Pick up a little more green, some white. Kind of mush it all on the brush. Going from the bottom of the blades of grass up and kind of lifting as I get to the tip. Water, some green on there. And over that layer again, but I'm not trying to blend. I'm just trying to get in between things and fill it in. Really don't want to blend. You just want to get it in there and move on. Definitely going to have little bits of water here and there so it's not like painting with boogers. Now I'm going to do another row down here. And you don't have to go row by perfect row as long as you have different layers of grass. If you notice any dripping, just dab your brush. You don't want to have so much water that it's dripping. Mostly green and yellow right now. Again, I'm kind of using it from the side instead of flat like that. A little blue crept onto my brush, which is totally fine. I like all the different colors in there. This is why I recommended a smaller canvas. It's a lot of strokes. I've got a 14 by 18. I still have little bits of yellow, just less than I did in the back. Little bits of white towards the front here. Some bluish green, all kinds of colors. This is wild, messy grass. When you guys complete this, feel free to send me a picture of it, private message, post it in the comments. It's a nice zen thing to do on a Sunday while it's snowing. Yeah, the music's down. I can hear myself painting too. Although I love the sound of a paintbrush on a canvas. So I'm good with it. Can't stand to hear anyone chewing, but I can hear the sound of a paintbrush. Almost done this grass. Just doing some touch-ups right now. The next thing we're going to put in is the flowers, and then we'll be done.
It's all green.
Yep.
Somehow I used it all.
How's the grass coming? Is it good? Yeah, it looks good. Lisa's pulling out a masterpiece over here. Having my grass go every which way and touching some spots up. I want it to look nice and wild. So I'm going to be doing some cadmium orange flowers. I have red or black centers. And if there's any spots in your grass you don't like, you put a flower there. Make sure you clean your brushes off so the paint doesn't harden on them. Kind of swish it around like potion so you're not banging your bristles on the bottom of the cup. Give that a minute to dry. We're going to be using the Filbert next. Could also do this with a round. I like the Filbert. This is a size 8 Art Advantage Filbert. And this is white Zinfandel. You don't really need to worry about putting stems on these guys because they're just all in the grass. You can if you want to, though. I'm going to have a couple tall ones back here that might have a stem. And we definitely want to have some of those flowers bigger in the front and smaller in the back, even some little dots. To do the flowers, I'm even going to come closer to the camera. Load it up with some orange or cadmium. These paints out of the way. This is the Blick paint we're using. And Blick in the tube. It's pretty good, nice, thick, and creamy. Very similar to the Art Advantage. Those are the paints I mostly use. So here's a close-up. So pull from the outside in. And you get yourself a flower, 5 petals. It might need another coat. They don't have to look perfect. Put a center on there. And if you want a flower from the side, two oval shapes. And then 1, 2, 3. And you put your center. You have one from the side. Some of these will definitely need another go around just to cover a little bit better. It's your 2 basic flowers. In back here, I'll get a little smaller. On the outside going in. And then you could even have some dots. That's what we'll be doing next. Lisa's going to do some lupins. Some little white dots around might even look pretty good. I'm going to put a sideways one up here, sticking up. Besides flowers, you could add a couple other things to this. Maybe a spaceship. Maybe some birds. So for birds, I would use my detail brush and I watered down the black a little bit. And we have one guy here that's closer than the rest, and create some more depth by making smaller guys. Kind of like the look of the thickness of these. And when you finish, I usually put my initials in the ear in the bottom right hand corner with the detail brush. Pretty much the same way we did those birds, watering it down. And you use a detail brush, you want to use just the tip, not pressing hard. You always want to clean that off right away and not let it sit in the water because that'll bend your tips. Do the same thing for the flowers if you decide you're going to put some stems on some of them. You working on grass, Lisa?
You want to call it that? I guess it's grass.
Looks like it from the back.
I'm so critical of myself.
Typical artist. Get to live in this world of flowers and then go outside to the snow. Getting any paint out? If you roll it from the top like toothpaste. I'm going to do some blacks for the center of some of these, see how that looks. Oh yeah, I like that. Whoop. Lisa's now covered in paint.
Almost.
Oh. Get a close up of that. Definitely going to touch up some of those flowers. This is just their first coat. But there you have it. Masterpiece on a Sunday in less than an hour. So thanks for joining us for our first Facebook Live, guys. Send me your finished products. Send me your comments, your criticism, your compliments. Have a great day. Cheers.